We are live and in color. Yes. Champ Frank is here. The champ is here. Oh my gosh. I tell you, we're here today, heart to heart, intimate discoveries, bringing you the uncut, unfiltered conversation around what it means to be intimate. Today is going to be a great topic, and I want to thank you all for joining us again for another dynamic experience. Thank you everyone for joining the show. If you have questions that you want the champ and Golden to talk about, call in, and we will do our best to take care of you. Remember, sky's the limit. Don't stop on the moon. As always, vulnerability is the birthplace for intimate relationships. I am your host, Champ Frank. Golden will be here soon, and we're going to get after it. I'm the champ, and let's get after it. Let's go. Here we go. Let's go.
They said I wouldn't make it, but I'm here now.
Yes, the champ is here.
And I'm here to stay, never go down. Cause I'm a champion. A champion. Cause I'm a champion.
Yes, let's get after it right now. We are here live and in color. Yes, absolutely here. Good Lord. Thank everybody for coming on. Yes, I am the champ. Thank you so much. Welcome me to the show. I love it when you love on me, right? Because no one knows when your time is gonna come. We say prayers out to all of those who have been affected by the hurricane. My heart goes out to all those affected by it. I know it's right now it's over $100 billion in damages nationwide, and it's tough. It's tough, right? And so, if you think about it right now, how important our relationships can be or should be. This is a moment to put things in perspective. It's a moment to put things in perspective because when you think about it, right? The sinkholes, the sand in the house, the tree that is falling on your house, being without power, being without water, and how that is affecting so many people right now. And then you reflect back on 3 weeks ago, you were arguing about the stuff that was just destroyed by the hurricane. Think about that. How precious life is, that we got to be able to focus and keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing in our situation is, can I be vulnerable with you? Can I talk to you about how I'm feeling? Can I share my concerns with you? Can I talk to you about my right now? How am I doing right now today? And can you be mentally stable enough to allow me the space to tell how I feel? Right? Also, today, I want to give a shout out to my little brother, Wallace. 3 years ago, he was murdered right outside of his restaurant. Doing a brilliant guy. He would be 47 today. Be 47. 47. He'd be 47 yesterday. And so I want to just continue to recognize Wallace, who was a great man. Heart was in the right place, and it's just being in the streets, being in Chicago, and at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Or at the right place at the wrong time, because wherever he thought he was going was right, but it was just the wrong time for him in that particular situation. And so my heart still goes out to my mom and my sisters and my family, because this was a tragic event. Um, and so it was something that um, really talks about what we're going to touch on today about emotional communication. And I remember um, the night my brother was killed. And there are people on my mom and my sisters, they're crying on the other end of the phone. And for me, I up to that point I hadn't cried. I wasn't crying. I was just in shock, like, oh my gosh, Lord, oh my gosh. I just couldn't believe it. And then I I went to sleep and woke up the next day and um recognized what had happened. Still was in awe of the fact that my brother had been murdered, and that he was dead. Um, and so the reason why I bring this up is because I recognize uh, that this that one of the reasons why I had challenges in my marriage is that I didn't know that I was responsible for creating a brave space for me and telling my feelings and emotions, regardless of the repercussions that of the other person on the other side. My job was to be brave enough to say that I'm hurting, brave enough to say that I'm disappointed, brave enough to say that doesn't work for me, brave enough to say that I feel discouraged, brave enough to say that I'm feeling a bit insecure. That was my responsibility to be brave enough to cry, to show your feelings and emotions, regardless of who told you that you have to be tough, that who told you that a man doesn't cry, who told you to suck it up, regardless of that, regardless of the person saying to you, you seem weak, regardless of that, regardless. And I just want us to be able to shine light on the situation to say that we want to be able to give each other a safe space so that they can practice being brave and expressing their true authentic feelings and emotions. One of the things I got out of therapy, because I still need to go to therapy, um, and I still go. And shout out to the VA for everything that it's doing for me and all the veterans out there who are struggling with mental health and anything else, and life after the military, after serving in your country for at least 1 year. Um, Now you can be entitled to some sort of benefits, um, as long as you have honorable discharge, right? All right, we got Bella coming on here. Here we go, Golden. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. Golden is coming on. And to share her perspective, to come on and talk and bring her truth. Well,
bring my truth.
Bring your truths.
I'm sideways.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why am I sideways.
Which way is your phone?
I'm on my iPad.
You're on your iPad.
I'm on my iPad.
Oh, now you're upside down. There you go.
There I go.
Here I go.
I guess I have.
Here I go. You know, I was gonna call you. I was like, what happened to us doing the show together?
Yeah, stop. So what that was, having with my son and his girlfriend, and so I was running a little late. But here I am.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy day before October 1.
Yeah.
All those good things.
Well, we definitely have to. We gotta hold on. We gotta welcome Golden to the show. Where's Golden?
Woo! Golden's in the house for sure.
Absolutely. We are glad to have you here on the show. Thanks again for another exciting episode. I had to come in and because I'm the champion. The champion.
That's right. You know what? We have to work on that too.
No, we gonna work on it. Hey, listen. It was 8:00. I didn't play the whole thing. It just got to that point, and then when the moment came on, amen. I was like, I'm here by myself, and
nah, you weren't by yourself.
I wasn't by myself, but anyway,
you were just left hold down.
I was left to hold it down. So here we are, heart to heart, unveiling intimacy with Golden and the champ.
Right, here we are.
Here we are, and today that we're talking about frustrations men face with emotional communication. And so one of the things that we do, you know, frustrations men encounter with emotional conversations feel confrontational, right? Men often experience frustration. I'm just saying, so hold on. I say men often experience frustrations when emotional talks seem to lead to conflict, right? We explain what you and I we're going to do. We're going to explain why this happens and how to transform these talks into moments of connection, right? You know, what common mistakes lead to frustration during emotional conversations, and how can individuals turn potential conflict to opportunities for understanding? What are some of the techniques that we can give them that can reduce the feeling that they're being confrontational?
Women are being confrontational.
Men, you know, women are being confrontational. Or you know, a man is bringing, you know, my emotional experience, and you're like, whoa, bro, wait, what's up with that? You know, why are you coming at me like that? Why are you feeling, you know, why are you being confrontational right now? And you don't appear to not have the ability to communicate your emotions. I'm talking. I'm listening to you, Golden. When you talk to me.
Oh, I was allowing you to finish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think for women, as a woman, I think when you have a partner that does not communicate very well, and when they do communicate, it may come across as angry, aggressive, hostile, controlling. And so, or sometimes, it's a part of, the old saying, silence speaks volume.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a partner that is silent and not communicating, that's also a sign of, oh boy, what's going on with you? But I think that men have to understand that when you are communicating with a woman and a woman is communicating with a man or your partner in general, we have to understand the cues and the body language, because body language also speaks volume.
Right.
Like you were saying, you were giving an example like, hey, dude, like, what's going on with you? Why are you speaking to me like that?
Right.
And sometimes as women, and I've said this before in another podcast that we shared, women seem to have that that tone in our voices. We seem to have that elevation in the body language, meaning the head movement and our facial expressions. And your partner may say, well, why are you angry? Like, what's going on? Why? It's like, I'm not angry.
Right. And
because of my tone and my body language,
right,
he or she may perceive it as being angry.
Right. And
so how can we communicate to each other without it being combative?
Right. And so based on studies, I know this guy, Dr. Morabian, looked at communication, and what he found is that only 7% of communication is verbal. 38% is vocal, like you were saying, the tone, and the 55% is visual. Your body language. And so again, 93% of communication is nonverbal. And so we got to be able to begin to look at communication with your partner in a positive perspective. And so the thing that I was noticing, that when you were talking about a man talking about his emotions, that I didn't hear anything. There was nothing positive that you said. There's nothing positive that you said in which a guy who has decided to be emotional with a female. There was nothing positive about that. No, you like it could come off as abusive. It can come off as angry. It can come off as da 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 da. It can come off as this way. And I think that one of the things that it can be is that a man can come off as being authentic and sincere. And being brave, and being vulnerable, and being caring and compassionate. Those are some of the things that we can begin to say that we see when a man is being vulnerable, when a man is having this emotional communication, that he's talking about how he feels.
And there's absolutely, and I feel that most individuals want that. Most partners want that.
Right.
But it's the same old cliche where men have difficulty opening up, and especially when it comes to confrontation with their partner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as an example, when I was married, my husband, my late husband, did not like patience. He did not like arguments. He did not like deep conversations that lead into maybe a heated discussion. Because sometimes, you know what, we can't always avoid those heated discussions. Sometimes we have to have heated discussions. That's just a part of life. That's just how we are made to have. But within those heated discussions, we have to understand how to communicate to each other.
Right.
If I say something that I know is going to tick you off, like, for example, I have a friend, a girlfriend, and she told her friend that they got into something, a disagreement. And she felt that, he should have been at the forefront. He should have been stronger. He should have said, pretty much, he should have spoken up.
He should have spoken up and said something to the person who was confronting her about the conversation.
Actually, the person was confronting him.
Oh, the person. Okay, so the person was confronting him about a situation, and he just like, whatever.
Explaining it to my girlfriend, time and again, and she's always complaining. It's like, you know what? He just will not speak up, and that drives her crazy.
Right.
So she said to him, "You need to grow a pair."
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
now,
I said, please tell me you did not say that to him.
And she like, yes, I did.
She said, yes, I did. Because I am so tired. Always come to me complaining, and he never tried. I said, just think what you did to his self-esteem at that moment.
I'm talking about, you know how USC, they have a Trojan, and that they go down at the end of the football field, and the guy comes in with the sword and like, bam. Yeah, she stabbed him right there in the face.
Yeah. So I did ask her what was his reaction. Did he curse you out?
Well, he probably didn't say anything. He at that moment he let her know that I can defend myself.
Well, you know what? She said, and he told her, please don't say that to me again.
Right. Ever.
And that was it.
Ever. And that's good. And so I was in the I was out last Friday, and one of my frat brothers saw me out there. Name started with a T. But anyway,
we'll call him T.
We'll call him T. Right? He saw me. He brought me over. He's like, man, we're here to celebrate my birthday. I got some other of my frat brothers over here, and I want to introduce you to him because you're a cool guy. And so I'm talking to this guy. He's sitting down, and I'm shaking his hand. And he's sitting down. And he's like, I'm like, what's your name, bro? He's like, Robert Wood. I'm like, dude, I can't hear you. I said, I can't hear you. What's up, man? And then I end up telling him, I say, listen, bruh, if you were standing up as a courtesy to a man, if you were standing up, looking me in my eyes and shaking my hand and telling me your name, I could hear you. He took offense to that. And so had I got in a heated conversation with him, I was gonna get hit in the face.
May I ask why you were getting into a heated conversation?
No. No, I did not get in a heated conversation with him. No.
Okay.
No, my point is that you can diffuse a heated, you can avoid a heated conversation when you want to. When you want to. Because like I said, for me, he was a little bit taller than me, and where I'm from, little guys typically don't fare out when he's fighting a big dude. He pretty much don't do well. Little guys don't do well when they fighting a big dude. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna try this, right? Because like I said, I already know I was gonna get hit in the face had I just went right there. So my point is that diffuse the situation. You don't have to have a heated conversation with your partner all the time or anytime. You know, it ain't that serious. So
at the end of the day, most of the time it isn't serious, but sometimes it is that serious.
Like when?
Like if there's infidelity.
Okay, then okay, that's
That's
course.
Serious.
Of course, I caught you with with a nipple in your mouth. No, you. You try to tell me that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes, like I told my sister the other day, I said sometimes there are just no words. Sometimes you just
with me.
No words.
With me.
This is a time.
This
is
the time.
One of those times. Yes, this is one of those times. But you know, sometimes you know there are heated discussions, and sometimes you have to step away. But you have to come back to the table at some point. You can't just brush it under the rug.
Right.
And so I think when there's something going on with a female or male, and the other partner, one feels they are not being heard, then you know it may come across as emotional unavailability. He's just emotionally detached,
right?
Or she's emotionally detached,
right? Absolutely, and there is the situation right there in which it requires that they can be a heated conversation because the person is refusing to hear the person out, and they're trying to justify their actions for not listening or hearing that person out and allowing them to have that safe space. So that's the situation right there. Doesn't have to be infidelity. It can be the mere fact that I don't like ice in my water. Right? I don't like to have a whole cup of ice and a little bit of soda, right? And you know that. All right? And you can
get your own dang soda and ice.
Huh?
I said, get your own dang soda and ice. How about that?
But there it is right there. But now you want me to get up and go get you something, and you want me to get yours right. And therein lies the problem why I get so frustrated, or why people can get so frustrated in situations when I have to get yours right, regardless of what it is. And when I don't get yours right, you owe me. And so why can't you get mine's right? Right? And that's that part about reciprocity that I often talk about. If we were in the streets and I gave you $40 and you gave me $20 worth of heroin or $20 worth of cocaine, no, or you were supposed to turn over this kilo of whatever, and you didn't. There will be a conversation. And you won't get two or three do-overs in the streets. And so why do we think that we can just expect a do-over after so many failures in things in which I ask you to do that you could do? You were right there. And therein lies the problem.
There lies the problem. So you get to the point where you get tired of giving the person a chance.
Right.
So then you have to make some decisions.
Right.
Is this person, their structure, their behavior, their thinking, their do's, their don'ts, the do-overs, is it so bad where it's going to cause distress, anxiety, all kinds of frustrations in my life? Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Right.
Is it worth it?
Right.
So, no, they're not perfect. They're not perfect.
You're absolutely right.
I don't expect them to be perfect, but I guess that's where you get to the fork in the road, and you just decide, what is best for you. At the end of the day, what is best for me?
Right. And is it really worth the ice in your soda? Is it really that serious?
Right. Is it that serious?
Is it that serious? Right?
I mean, is it the easier solution is, okay, for whatever reason, he or she can't seem to get it right. A third of ice, a fourth cup of
right.
soda,
Right.
Whatever.
1/18 cup of ice.
Whatever it might be. And so you just can't get it right. At the end of the day, you know what? Look at the pros. Look at the person's heart. Look at their spirit. Look at the goodness. Look at the blessing in that person.
Right.
Let's just not measure someone on stuff and abilities, because we are supposed to have abilities and inabilities. And maybe he or she doesn't want to get your club soda and your vanilla cream and your water and whatever it is that you want. So is it going to be so bad that you can do those things for yourself?
Right.
I mean, I have a friend. I have some that, he would love them to death. Love him to death. And he wears a uniform to work. His shirts are cotton. I mean, cotton you can't find in the store anywhere. So you have to iron his shirts with starch and whatnot. And so she had been ironing his shirts for years. She decided, I'm tired of ironing these thick, rough-dried cotton shirts. I'm not going to do it anymore. But what I take them to the dry clean. Well, he wasn't happy. He wanted her to iron. Ironing, every week you wear 5 shirts, sometimes 6 shirts. Right. With an extra shirt to work. I'm not doing it. Well, he was so upset about her not wanting to iron his shirts anymore. I mean, it almost broke them up.
Wow. And
so I had to tell him, you know what? I'm not with you on the shirt ironing.
Right.
Because this is something that she had done previously, and she's been doing it for years, but she's at the point where she's tired of ironing your thick cotton shirts. So I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
I mean, he was taking it. I mean, he got on that train. He rode it I have to give him credit. He rode that train to the very end. And so he asked me about it. And I told him, is that something that you truly want to fight? Is a battle in your marriage that you want to fight? It's just as easy for her to take them to the dry cleaners like she offered.
Right.
There was a problem. She's tired of ironing your cotton shirt.
Right.
But she has a solution. Off at the dry clean. That was he wanted his shirts like starched and ironed. So that was a battle that he didn't win. He couldn't win. I mean, they're still together, thank God, but I mean, it almost, he was pretty upset about that.
Right. And the thing that he was, I think that caused him to be upset was paying someone to do something, to do a task that we were capable of doing in the house. And I understand how he could miss it like that, because I missed it that way too. And this was in getting the maid. The same thing, right? Is the task complete? And that's a good situation to talk about, because at the end of the day, what is the goal? Is the goal that the shirts are ironed, or is the goal is for you to see me doing something for you? What is the goal?
How about both? How about both? I think in that situation, I can speak on. I think in that situation, he wanted what he wanted,
right?
And he wanted his shirts ironed
by his woman,
from her,
right? For her person.
He didn't want to spend. He didn't want her to spend the additional funds at the dry cleaners.
Right.
And I get it.
I get it too.
At the end of the day, if someone is telling you, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this.
Right.
I don't want to do this anymore. It's okay. But for him, it wasn't okay. So you know what happened? So because of his frustration, disappointment, and all those things, she felt as though he was controlling. And he wasn't hearing her. She felt he was bullying her.
Wow.
And I can understand how she got that way.
Right. So remember what we talked about. That it is rare that a man being emotional is seen positive. just like what we just said. You just said, she saw him as controlling and manipulative, all because he was sharing how he felt about her ironing his clothes. And again, the thing is that there is a picture that he's holding on in his past, that his woman is supposed to do this for him. And somebody told him that, huh?
Yeah, he did feel that way. Also, he always reference his friend's wife.
His friend's wife.
His friend's wife does that.
Right.
She irons his clothes, and she cooks his meals, and she does all these wonderful things for her husband. And my thing is, okay, but that's her. That's her. Their relationship.
And that's how she's been trained. Yeah, absolutely.
Their own dynamic.
So
you can't. So he's one of those old school guys. He's one of those old school guys. If I'm working and bringing home the money and taking care of our family, you can do these things. It's doable. Some things are doable, but it's okay for your partner to say, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I want to do that.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And sometimes, guess what? You don't have to give a reason.
And you don't. And right. And so and that's the other part that we got to be careful about, comparing our relationships to somebody else, because there are certain things that she does not do. Yeah, although she does all that ironing stuff, she might not do other stuff for you, for her husband. Like, because she's that so regimented and she irons and all other stuff, her only vision about sex is missionary. And that's how she is. But so you gotta decide. You can't just take one area of a person's life and think that everything else is good, because that's what he's showing you. He's not showing you the other part.
Right, but the other part is showing them other things. Showing them other things. I mean, you brought up sex, for example, and she may just be a missionary person.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how she learned or taught or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. But you know what? Also, that's when that safe environment comes into play. Because remember, we don't know what someone has been through, what someone is going through.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, the woman in the missionary style, she may be that way for a reason, because she experienced something in her life, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
Right.
But we have to be careful about being so quick to judge someone.
Right. That part.
So, if you want something a little more spice in the bedroom from your partner, it's something that you have to talk about. Hey, babe, let's try this. Or how do you feel about us doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Set the mood. Change things up.
Right.
I don't know. Start with cooking dinner. I don't know. But that's not what I do.
No, but that's a good point.
Change things up. Do things differently, but take it slow. Just don't go in like boom, boom, and start doing things like whoa, and the person might say, whoa, I'm not comfortable with that, because that can make a person run.
Right.
And it could be traumatic.
It can be traumatic.
It can bring something. So, we really have to be gentle. We have to practice that gig.
Practice the gig. We always go back to the gig.
Always go back to the gig. Always go back to the gig.
And tell us about what is the gig? What is the gig? For those who haven't heard. Mm-hmm.
Yes. My gig is grace, showing grace, being intentional, and being gentle with ourselves and each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, we may, for example, I may be in a coffee shop and see someone, coming in and sitting at a table, a young lady coming in, sitting at a table by herself. And she just looks like something's going on with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes if you just walk up and you just say, how are you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that to people just in walking. Like I explained to you when I was walking back that day, and the security guard, and I just walked by him and I said, hey, how are you doing? And he caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, ma'am, I'm not doing well.
Mm.
And I stopped and I turned around and I looked at him and I said, did you say you weren't doing well? And he said, no, ma'am, I'm not doing well.
Mm.
And I said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope and pray that things will get better. And he just started talking to me about what's going on in his life. But to look at this man, was a Prince George's County police officer, and to look at him, wow, this big, tall guy, and for him to say, "Ma'am, I'm not doing well." I mean, I had to look up at him, but he was very emotional, and actually, as he was telling me his story, he was crying. And my heart just went out to him. And I gave him some encouraging words. I said to him, you are very strong. I know you are. Because the job that you do every day You go out here and you protect the citizens of this city. I
Right.
know that you are a strong person because it takes a strong person to do this job, and whatever is going on in your life, it's not going to end you.
Right.
And you will see a brighter day. You will see better times.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, you have to go through this. You have to go through this storm. You can't walk through it. You can't walk under it. You have to go through it.
Right.
And so he thanked me for listening, and told him I would be praying for him. And actually, I still do keep saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing. You just I was with my conversation with him and my concern.
Mm-hmm.
And I would show him some grace. And I did tell him, and I said, I can see that this is very upsetting for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it really is. And so we all go through something for whatever reason, and we truly just have to be with people and gentle on ourselves and just show one another grace, because
Right.
it's so much going on in our world. It's so much happening. People killing themselves and mental illness, and it's just so much dysfunction. And we just never know.
You
Never know.
You never know. You never know.
It could be, we could say something one day, and we want someone to practice gig with us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and you know what? It's an easy thing to do. For me, it's an easy thing to do.
It's an easy thing to practice. It's an easy thing to practice.
It is.
Right?
We don't have to always be so angry.
Right. You don't always have to be angry.
Be so hostile towards each other. Sometimes we have to just step back, and just breathe, and just say, okay.
But how many people get that peace or that time and space where they can just breathe, where you can just be content, where you can be you can have serenity, or you can be in a quiet space where nobody is, you feel actually safe, that you can pause and be quiet, and just woosah.
Right.
Yeah. There are people who
something we practice.
You gotta practice it.
Oh, but it starts within us. It starts with us. It starts, just being intentional with ourselves, with our minds, with our words, with our language, with whom we associate ourselves, with whom we allow in our circle.
Right.
Because everyone doesn't belong in your circle.
That's true.
So I have learned everyone does belong in your circle. And some areas include family members.
That includes family members.
My circle, sometimes it may include not allowing some family members in your circle.
Right.
And so, where I am in my life, on this street, since my husband's passing, it is just, I've had a great deal of reflection and just time to spend with myself, time to understand me, learning that I'm thinking myself now without him. And so I had to learn how to take care of me, and that's physically, mentally, spiritually. And so I do yoga. I sit with myself. And I answer.
You
And
answer.
I just understand that where I am in my life, I no longer will allow myself to try to figure out if someone belongs in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because actions speak louder than words. If someone is intelligent, if someone is truly for me and not against me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to figure that out. Because your actions will show if you love me, if you care about me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so I don't figure it out. And so I just had to make my circle tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I know who is for or against me. So
But that is a decision. That is making a conscious decision on how you spend your time.
Yeah.
And the amount of stress that you apply or eliminate in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important. And I know for me, my phrase is bless God. When someone is saying something that I don't agree with, I don't forsake. I'm not entertaining that. So what helps me is bless God that that's you, because it ain't coming in my life. Because I already know what you saying ain't coming in my life. Just like a guy came to me today telling me to vote for JD Vance and Trump. I'm like. I'm like, dude, okay, tell me, if you're gonna talk to me about something, if you want to be true on crime, hard on crime, and you got 95% of little black kids up in the detention center up here, but you're gonna let this guy go free? No, 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 no. If you gonna see the what is it, the Orangeburg riot, the Orangeburg massacre, and y'all, the police open fire on these kids, but you gonna justify somebody else getting away with murder or somebody. But my point is, I just let him talk. I asked him different questions, but then I was like, hey, I ain't voting for him. So however you decide to go off and right to tell me how it should be, I'm like, dude, I. But for me, I think that what is really interesting when you peel back the onion is that rarely do you see the issues that are on the ballot affecting white men. Everything that is on the ballot is protecting him. So
politics. Is this politics hour now?
No, it's not politics hour. That was just my moment, right? My point is, I just let him say what he gonna say, and I ain't get upset about his political views. I said, bless God.
And you know what the bottom line is, Franklin?
What's the bottom line?
People have a right to vote for whomever they want to vote for.
Absolutely.
For whatever reason.
Absolutely.
People believe, and everybody has the right to vote for whom they vote for. I don't argue with people about left side, right side. If that's how they feel, that's how they feel. I may not agree with it, but that's how they feel.
And they're okay, and it's okay. It's
okay. Yeah. Vote for King Kong if you want to.
Right.
That's just how people feel. So.
Right. And so.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that we want to be able to help our listeners, that as we close out this conversation about men, their frustrations about being heard during emotional conversations, right? And so we want to be able to Um, understand that is that sometimes men can feel a bit overwhelmed by their emotional needs, right? After going around for so many years, days, and no one ever, rarely ever asking them, how you doing? And like the police officer, like you were saying, and feel like they have a space that they can share those things, right? And so,
Right, a safe space.
right,
Right. And how many men feel as though they have a safe space
right,
to feel vulnerable and to speak and to not be penalized or shut down or felt like they are less than. They're not a man. You
right,
sit here crying. I want you to know that it's okay that you are having this emotional moment.
right.
It's okay. So real quick, my son, one of his best friends was killed a couple months ago on a motorcycle. Just graduated from college. And he called me and his voice was just matter of fact. And so I said to him, this is my youngest, I said, how are you feeling? Well, Mom, it is what it is. And I said, what does that mean? And he said, I don't know, Mom. And I said, well, what are you feeling like you want to scream, cry? I know you're sad. You lost your friend. So I want you to know that it's okay if you want to scream or cry or shout, because this was your dear friend. And so, a few days later, I asked, his girlfriend, how was he doing? And she said, he really let it out. She said, I don't know what you said to him, but thank you.
Right. And those are our desires, we have a desire that we can be straightforwardness in our requests, right?
And to have that safe space, take that. I want not only men, but I want men, women, and children to understand that feeling safe and being able to communicate your feelings and your thought to someone without being penalized about how you're feeling, and for someone to say to you, it's okay that you're feeling this way, and you can disagree with the person, but you can't change their feelings because that's how they feel.
Right. And therein lies, we're closing out at 9 o'clock, but therein lies the problem. You can't disagree with how somebody feels.
No, you can't.
Why are you looking to disagree with the way that they feel? I don't agree you should feel that way. Hold on. What does it take? What does it cost you to allow that person to process the feelings wheel? Right? The space and say, you know what? I'm really aren't. I'm not really not depressed. You know what? I'm just feeling inadequate. And you just gave that person who the space to really properly assign a feeling. But if I'm arguing with you because you don't agree with me that I shouldn't feel depressed, I really can't properly assign this feeling. And that's not fair to people. It's not fair.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. So we have to do a better job. And, maybe on Wednesday we can talk more about the feelings wheel in this topic, so people can have a better understanding of the feelings wheel. Because there are so many feelings and emotions. And just to let people know, it's okay to feel that way. If that is how you feel, however you got there,
right,
that's okay.
Right.
But we can't stay there.
That's right.
We can't stay there.
Right. Absolutely.
So we have to have options to get better, feel better, get help, whatever it may take. We cannot stay in that particular emotion for very long.
Yes, and we can go.
Because it will lead to something else.
It will lead to something else, and that's. We're closing out right here. Golden. Anything else? Anything else that you want to say? But let me just say this last part here. That one of the things. So a solution that we can that we want to give is that simplify emotional requests. Give practical examples of how to express your feelings. And help them to be able to do that. And I think that will be something that we could that you can begin to practice. Simplifying your emotional requests, practical examples of how to express your feelings. Is something that you can begin to practice. All right, and
those require. Let me close with this. Take baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
If both partners can come to a solution or something where they take baby steps,
right,
where they both feel like they can emotionally connect and respond to each other. So, take the opportunity to find ways that you can effectively communicate, but take those baby steps.
Right. And take.
We can talk about that on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it Wednesday. But when you're taking baby steps, make sure that you're taking those baby steps and with the intent of walking in that thing, right? Gig. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Let's give Golden a round of applause. Yes. Thank you so much for another episode of Heart to Heart, Unveiling Intimacy with Golden and the Champ. Remember tune in Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. here on Intimate Discoveries Heart to Heart. Remember to subscribe.
Continue this discussion.
Yeah, subscribe, share, and like our show. And we'll see you on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. All right. Good night.